Welcome to Southeastern Wrestling. And Les, a lot of things are happening in the area. Today's television card, no exception.
That's right. We've got Jerry Stubbs on today's card in action. We're going to finally get a look at former North American heavyweight champion Paul Orndorff. He's with us today also, Charlie.
We should say Robert Gibson takes on Jimmy Jones.
Right, and we'll be seeing the Ron Bass, the outlaw, in action against Ken Timms.
Mr. Saito is in action today on Southeastern Championship Wrestling and a host of others. Major things taking place in the area in the past week. It seems that Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey have regained the tag titles that they once held from the Armstrongs, Bob and Brad. And we'll be seeing videotaped highlights of that match later on today in Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
And Charlie, a second title change involved this, the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship belt. Jimmy Golden defeating Jerry Stubbs, but after that match, Golden was weighed in and was over the weight limit. So right now,
he was over the weight limit, so why don't you just give me my belt back?
Well, because
I told you he was overweight.
Because of your unsportsmanlike conduct, because of the situation, the National Wrestling Alliance and Don Curtis have elected to hold this belt up and have a tournament for it.
He can't hold the belt up. The belt should come back to me.
Well, this is their ruling, and this is what they said. The belt is now in limbo. There will be a tournament for the championship.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. I'm going to get the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, and I'll be back for that one. You can count on that.
Former U.S. champion Jerry Stubbs, we said. Jimmy Golden, just a scant pound and some ounces over the weight limit, but enough to eliminate him, and the belt now in limbo. There will be a tournament for the United States Junior Heavyweight title.
Indeed. It's about time to get our first match underway today. Let's go to the ring for the introduction.
Your attention, please. Our first match, 1 fall, 10 minutes time limit. Your referee, Tommy Weathers. Tommy Weathers, your referee. Introducing in the corner to my left at 218 pounds from Dothan, Alabama, Ray Harris. Ray Harris. His opponent at 225 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Jerry Stubbs. Jerry Stubbs.
Former U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. That title being held up because of Golden winning the title from Stubbs, and Golden later found to be overweight in that category. Body slam by Stubbs.
Jerry opening up, and of course, Stubbs very upset about the situation. First, losing the belt to Golden. Secondly, having the belt taken away from Golden because of him being overweight, and now the belt has been held up, as we mentioned at the top of the program. But Jerry Stubbs, a tough competitor, right now with that front chancery on Ray Harris. Harris looking for an opening here, for a handle. A nice short ride on the suplex, takedown, and pulling the shoulders of Ray Harris up. Might have been a little early to try for a pin, but Stubbs didn't want to take a chance. He wants to do a little damage, and he is blocking Harris. Harris has the speed, but Stubbs certainly with the major portion of the experience in that wrestling ring right now, Charlie.
And he maintains that chancery on Harris. Harris looking for some means of escape. Stubbs, the former champion, using that headbutt.
Stubbs back to that front chancery once again and applying the pressure. Ray Harris gaining experience with each outing, Charlie, but when you're in against a man like Stubbs, you've got to be out there 100%, whether it be mentally, physically, or whatever, because Stubbs is always finely honed. You may not appreciate his tactics, but you've got to appreciate the fact that the man does win, and win with a lot of consistency.
You have to admire Stubbs, the intense this man goes through every week, Les. We've talked with Jerry on several occasions, and he spends a lot of time in the gym staying in condition. And
recent weeks, Jerry has been going through a lot of mental anguish involving challenges for his belt, that belt being held up, being defeated for it, etc., and on, and Jerry Stubbs venting that frustration on one Ray Harris.
Side headlock by Stubbs now. Harris takes his man over into the ropes. Good shoulder smash by Stubbs. Takes Harris up.
Harris coming up slowly now. Stubbs staying right on top of him. This is one of the keys that's made Jerry Stubbs such a potent offensive weapon in that wrestling ring. He presses for advantage and keeps his opponent moving at all times. Right now, Ray Harris trying to break Stubbs down. Stubbs with the advantage, certainly, here. Stubbs talking to me earlier, Charlie, before the program, mentioning that he indeed wanted to become the ultimate junior heavyweight wrestling machine in the sport. And you can say that the man does not have the tools to do it. Harris battling back first shot offensively, and handling Stubbs well.
Stubbs fighting back now in that corner. Good forearm and connection to the side of the head. Stubbs takes his man over in that turnbuckle, comes off. There's that Jerry Stubbs power slam and into a pinning position. That's it.
He's got him covered with a power slam and a body press. Jerry Stubbs comes up with a win over Ray Harris.
And unsportsmanlike conduct on the part of Stubbs after the man defeated. There you saw Stubbs kicking at Harris. Nevertheless, Stubbs, your winner of our first match here on Southeastern Wrestling, and it's our pleasure
Go right ahead.
to welcome Mr. Paul Orndorff to Southeastern Wrestling. Paul,
Glad to be here.
former North American heavyweight champion, and a lot of other credentials in your corner, because not only North American heavyweight champion, you played pro football for the New Orleans Saints, played for Tampa, for University of Tampa.
Right.
They're old Camel, University of Tampa, weren't you?
Well, you could say that. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky. You know, I've been fortunate, and I guess I've been at the right place at the right time. And, you know, my heart's with what I do. I've done this all my life. I amateur wrestled, and I like playing football. But this is really one of my first love, and this is what I've been doing. I've just went back to this. I've been doing it now for 4 years, and Les has known me pretty much that whole time.
Sure have. Watch your career grow, and this gentleman has done it all in professional wrestling. And, of course, he's here to do it all once again with the Southeastern titles that are available. Paul, we've got some tape footage of a match with Larry Cheatham, which I believe was shot in Shreveport, Louisiana. So let's take a look and let's hear your comments as we watch the action.
All right. I just tried to go after his leg right there, and he tried it after me, which I figured he would do, and I got behind him.
Good wide stance there, Paul. You got him blocked. He's not going anyplace.
That's exactly right. When it's hard for a man to turn you over, too, there, and anybody knows anything about or amateur wrestling also, is that you always keep a good wide base, because anytime, you know, they can roll you or pin you in a manner that way. Larry's a good, tough guy. You know, he's unorthodox. You never know what he's going to do next, and that's what makes this man so dangerous, because every time I've ever gotten into a ring with a man, I've never sold him short for 1 minute, because as soon as you do, that's when you can get beat, and I've never done this, so I don't care who it is. Maybe the guy is green, or maybe he isn't. I go out there with one thing in mind, and that's to try to defeat that man and not give him an edge.
Paul, as I recall, one time you told me that throughout your college and professional football career, you did retain some of the training methods taught to you by the different trainers for tendon strength and so forth, and you combine those with a good weightlifting program as well.
That's very true, Les. You know more about myself than I do. You're right. I've done a lot of stretching and especially a lot of stretching exercises, because so many people that weight train, they forget all about stretching. And, you know, most important about stretching is, you know, it keeps your muscles really, you know, flexible. You can do a lot of things, and that's something I've always done.
Talking about flexibility, we saw a good move there. Paul making the leap over Cheatham, catching him with that reverse monkey flip, then the arm drag once again. And of course, Paul, we're, again, back to titles. We're talking about championships, and it's no big secret that world champion Harley Race will be in this area in early March of this year, and I know this is one of the reasons that also you've come to the Southeastern area.
And that's very true. You know, I've had a couple of battles with Harley Race, and I've beaten him a couple of times, and there's just some way, you know, I'm not the only person that has, but there's a lot of people here that's capable of doing it also. But I know how he is, and there's somehow or another he keeps that belt. And his time is coming very near, and I just hope that I be the one that wrestles Harley Race here. And, you know, there's a lot of other prestigious titles that are here, a lot of them. And I'll tell you what, you got some fine wrestlers here. I mean, there are some fine ones. I just got back from a tour from Japan, and I tell you what, Southeastern wrestlers, some of the wrestlers here have made a name for themselves, because they're even talking about them clear over there. And that's 18,000 miles away. And of course, I'm just looking forward to it.
You're handling a tough customer in veteran Larry Cheatham here, and of course, speaking of tough customers, Ron Bass, Randy Rose, Dennis Condrey, Johnny Valiant, to name just a few that are trading holes with people in our area.
That's right. Well, like I said, I came here for one reason, and I'll tell you what, and I'm not saying this because I'm here right now, because if they've heard it, you know, and you say it everywhere you go, but there's as much good talent here as anywhere in the country. And I'm talking about the Stubbs and the Roses and the Basses, and it's just unbelievable. And that's what I like. I like competition. This is what I've done all my life. This is how I thrive, and I like to be put to a test. And they believe me, they got people here that can put you to a test, and I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, talking about thriving in tough competition, Charlie, as we're watching the action here, Cheatham working Paul over some, but Paul battling right back with a great second effort.
Good knee lift by Orndorff.
Well, you got to stay on him. That's what I tried to do. I pretty much stayed on him to a point and dropped that big knee across his nose, and that takes some of the sting out of him for a while.
Well-rounded athlete. Paul, we saw the arm wrestling tape with Ox Baker last week, and this is something you participated in several parts of the country.
Right. This is a suplex that I've more or less done myself.
You know, I hadn't seen this the last time I saw you wrestle, Paul, which has been about a year and a half ago. This is something you developed just recently, then.
Right. You know, I saw this done one time before, and I tried it, and I've been...
Do you have a special name for it?
No, I just something I see, and that's the way I learn a lot, is I'll watch and review all kind of films, and I'll pick things out of it. That opponent, you know, will throw him off, and that's what I do.
For information, call 320-6163. Tickets on sale at Boutwell box office Monday, beginning at 9 a.m. And here's your lineup. The World Junior Heavyweight title at stake as champion Les Thornton defends against Norvell Austin. The Alabama State title on the line as Mr. Saito puts his belt up against Bob Armstrong. And the one-night tournament, a 1980 Corvette to the winner. Here are your first-round pairings. The Tennessee Stud battles Johnny Valiant. Jimmy Golden takes on Jerry Stubbs. Brad Armstrong opposes Dennis Condrey. Robert Gibson against Randy Rose, and Paul Orndorff against outlaw Ron Bass. Don't forget, the World Junior Heavyweight title at stake, the Alabama title at stake, and a one-night tournament. The winner receive a 1980 Corvette automobile. And it all comes together Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, bell time 8 p.m. for a super Southeastern wrestling lineup. I'd like to remind you once again that tickets do go on sale at the Boutwell box office Monday beginning at 9 a.m. With me, Ron Bass and Jerry Stubbs. They're involved in the first-round pairings for that 1980 Corvette. 11 big matches in Boutwell Auditorium on Monday night. But before we talk to Bass and Stubbs, let's hear from their opponents, Jimmy Golden and Paul Orndorff.
Paul, I want to personally welcome you to the Southeastern area. And as you know, all the fans here know in Birmingham, we're in a tournament for a beautiful automobile, a Corvette. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but take my word, it's one sharp-looking car. And I would dearly love to see one of us win it. But first of all, I want to tell you, Jerry Stubbs, you ain't going to get past the first chance, because you're going to be facing me, brother. And I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take you out in high fashion, Daddy, and then we're going to go on with business. Brother Paul?
I wish you the best of luck. You know something, Ron Bass? This ain't the first time for me and you, buddy. We've been in that ring before. We've had some of the most vicious brass knucks matches ever filmed, ever seen anywhere. So this won't be a first, and I got a little, whatever you want to call, a little debt to pay back to you, because you've done something to me that I'll never forget about.
Well, Paul Orndorff is ready for Monday night, right?
I'm glad to see Paul Orndorff remembers me. That's right, Paul Orndorff. We had some bloody clashes, and nothing been settled yet. But I'm going to tell you something. When we get in the Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, Alabama, we're going to get something settled, because I want that Corvette. I want it, son. And you think you're going to come in here and make a name for yourself right off the bat? You're going to come in and take the big outlaw on and try to embarrass me? Well, it's never going to happen, Orndorff. I'm going to be the winner, and I'll go on and take the Corvette.
Jerry, Jimmy Golden seems to be ready. How about you?
Well, I don't believe Jimmy Golden's ready. I don't never see him in the gym. I don't never hear about him going to the gym. But you can look right there and see that I go to the gym. Let me say something, Jimmy Golden. You said it's going to be the first time for everything. It's going to be the first time I hurt you real bad, and you'll be the one to never make it back to the end of the finals, and I'll be the one driving a new Corvette.
Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, 11 big Southeastern wrestling matches. You won't want to miss it.
One of the great athletes in pro wrestling, Paul Orndorff, to the Southeastern wrestling area. Paul?
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much. Really glad to be here.
And Paul has quite a list of credentials in his career in professional wrestling. You've held many regional titles. Last week, we showed, a week or two ago, we showed some videotape of you in the arm wrestling competition. You held many state titles there. And I guess your biggest accomplishment was the North American heavyweight champion.
Well, that's true. You know, I've been very fortunate in, you know, being lucky. I guess it's being at the right place at the right time, and I guess I have been in my short future as a professional wrestler. I did defeat Ernie Ladd for that belt, and everybody knows this man is 6'9", weighs over 300 pounds, so that was quite an accomplishment, and I'm very proud of that. And you could say luck or whatever it was, but anyway, I held that belt for over 9 months, and I also was part of the World Tag Team belts for a while also. But you know, it's just being at the right place in the right time. And you know, when you get around the people, and you know, I like the fans. I've always been that way. I thank my fans, because anytime you get down and out and they get out there hollering and chanting for you and everything, well, that just gives you a little bit extra drive. And you know, and a lot of times this has helped me, and this is what I do.
Of course, you play pro football for the New Orleans Saints, but what we want to get to now is you have a great interest in titles that are here in the Southeastern wrestling area.
That's very true, Charlie. I just got back from a tour in Japan, and you would not believe that the name that this area is really getting, because anytime that you can go 16, 18,000 miles away, and you hear about Southeastern wrestling, you hear about the Ron Basses, you hear about Buddy Rose, you hear about them all. I mean, you hear about these people. And when the word gets around there, it means only one thing, and that's money. And everybody's out for money now. And it's, you know, there's a lot of prestigious titles around here, and I'd love to be a part of them or given a chance to get a shot at one of these titles. So I'm looking very forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the money.
Now, the Southeastern Tag Champions, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey, they defeated the team of Bob and Brad Armstrong for those titles in the last week. We have some videotape highlights of that match, and if we could, Wayne upstairs, roll the match in which Rose and Condrey regained their Southeastern Tag titles.
And, of course, gentlemen, at this particular point in the match, you are in control. As we can see here, blocking on Brad Armstrong as Dennis picks up the tag. Dennis?
We're always in control, Les Thatcher. Look at here. One bear hug on one little punk-nosed kid here.
You're looking at the finest two that ever stepped in the ring in Dothan, Alabama. All you hillbillies over there know it. All you hillbillies watching know it. Hillbillies, rednecks, you all know that this is the finest two and the best, because we got what it takes, and we got this, and we're going to hang on to it.
A lot of people are asking us why we're wearing these big smiles, Les Thatcher. We're wearing these big smiles because we're wearing these Southeastern belts around our waist. That's why we're smiling so much.
$1 million talent with $1 million smile, right, cuz?
That's right, baby. You got that right. Truer words have never been spoken.
Look at this. I was just doing a little workout with a kid there, pumping him, you know, picking him up and down because I didn't get to the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
We got a guy to kind of block over here like the 49ers, you know.
Of course, there are a couple of spots in this tape we want to call the fans' attention as we get down towards the end of the match. We're some 2 minutes away from that. Right now, as we see Brad Armstrong battling back, trying to break loose, make the tag. You can see Bob making the reach from the corner, trying to close that distance down. And here, Randy moving in, blocking Brad Armstrong, and Dennis taking back over.
You will not see a finer team than this right here.
Now let's watch it here as Brad finally makes the tag, and Bob Armstrong comes in to go to work. First on Randy Rose, and then on Dennis Condrey.
Yeah, look what he's doing. Karate. This is not wrestling. This is karate. Look at that judo chop to the throat. We should have been the champions right there. Look at here. The man's gone crazy.
We ain't through no
We can't help it because his son can't wrestle.
We ain't through no fist. I want you to look in the background there, Les Thatcher. Look in the background. We had a sellout crowd in Dothan, Alabama, came to see the two cousins.
Now watch here. Dennis, you're going into your knee pad for something.
I'm adjusting my knee pad. It slipped down, and all I did was adjust it.
Rose throws Brad Armstrong
wait a minute.
and Bob Armstrong
I was
apparently at this point.
We went through
over the top. I don't know where you get all that from.
I want you to watch here. Brad coming up is going to see what's happening. Randy Rose going to that top rope. Dennis Condrey setting Bob Armstrong up. And Brad does the only thing that's left to do, and that's sacrifice himself to save that knee from coming down onto the ribs of his father.
And you see
valiant effort,
one,
no doubt.
the 2, and the 3, and you got your champion standing right here.
Look at him. He's knocked slap dab out with one right hand from Dennis Condrey. He's out.
The lights are out. Turn off the lights. They're gone.
Well, then, I feel that you've been going to that knee pad quite frequently lately, Dennis.
Let me say this, Les Thatcher. I got a knee pad here that's not too tight on my knee. Every once in a while, I have to pull it up because it slides down my leg. Now, I like to keep this up here because this is what this is for. This is a knee pad, and I don't like for it to slide down.
Got to protect them knees, boy. Like
These are $1 million knees right here, baby.
With $1 million smiles, and we got the best.
Well, Charlie, they are the new champions, and
right
the tape speaks for itself. I guess we're ready for some action in the ring.
Yes, our next event about ready to get underway. Let's go to the ring.
Your attention, please. Our next match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing, in the corner to my left, from Riverdale, Georgia, at 248 pounds, Ken Timms. Ken Timms. His opponent, at 280 pounds, from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. Ron Bass.
Ron Bass kicking on Kim Timms, and
we're going to be seeing the other side of that tag team coin, Charlie. After this match, we'll roll that tape through again, and Andy Armstrong's with us out here.
I'd like to hear their comments on that, and I certainly think they deserve a chance to hear their comments about the match. Bass going to work early.
Ken from Riverdale, Georgia, getting indoctrinated with the Ron Bass way of professional wrestling, and not too enjoyable indoctrination here, Charlie.
A lot of people wonder about wrestling, how they can have it sponsored in their community. The information going across the screen now for non-profit organizations. Right to Southeastern Wrestling. WTVY Box 1089, Dothan, Alabama 36301. Information on how to have wrestling, sponsor wrestling in your town or community as a fundraising event.
Right now, Bass with that headlock and going for the Bulldog headlock on Ken Timms, and Ron Bass wasting no time as he bailed right into Timms, pulls him up by the hair on the count of one. Referee Weathers warning Bass about that particular infraction, but Bass like a man possessed in there today, Charlie.
And again, Bass dropping that elbow for the pin. That's going to wrap it up. And your winner in short time, the big Texan Ron Bass over Ken Timms.
Ron Bass has been aligning himself with Johnny Valiant of late, and they make quite a potent combination, too. The Luscious and the Outlaw.
Indeed, they do.
Brad Armstrong joined us now, and as we mentioned, we were going to show the tag team title change tape once again. And Brad, is your dad going to join us? Or?
Well, Dad had some business in Columbus, Georgia earlier this morning, so I thought he'd be back by now, but he's not back yet. He should be back shortly.
We've got this tape, and of course, you know that we don't have to tell you the titles have changed hands. We talked to Condrey and Rose earlier, and we want to roll that tape and get your comments on exactly how this thing unfolded. So let's get into that tape right now. Here's the action, Brad, and at this point is Randy Rose pounding away on you, and they had battered you quite a bit at this particular time.
Yes, sir. It was a tough, one of the toughest matches I've ever been in.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. What's going on here?
Where's the father? Where?
Don't worry about my dad.
Oh, he scared me. You scared me at the... Oh, he scared me at the...
Wait, just...
Goes after Saito. Saito slaps this young gentleman, and Brad is not going to take that lightly as he moves into the ring now. Saito with a karate thrust in the throat, Charlie. And Brad is almost stopped before he can start. And you can see as he rips the shirt off. The ribs have been wrapped, and this is the result of that tag team title match we were trying to show on tape here. Saito and Rose ushering them out here, and this is further all their idea.
Here comes Dovell Austin, Robert Gibson, Roy Welch, and a host of others to try and break this up.
They got to his ribs. As you can see, Charlie, we brought it out. The ribs are wrapped, and Brad cracked some ribs when he saved his father in that title match. We saw that on the tape. And apparently Rose and Condrey have run this man Saito out here, and what can you say? Attacking the guy, you can see the ribs were wrapped.
No call for that at all. Hopefully we'll get this all straightened out. Our personality profile is coming up next. Stay with us. Coming your way today on Southeastern Championship Wrestling, it's my pleasure to welcome back to this area Robert Gibson after a long absence. Robert, good to have you back.
Thank you. It's a very nice pleasure to be back home in my hometown here, you know. I got one thing to say. I'm back here for one reason. Is that Ron Bass. So he's the reason now that my brother's not wrestling. Ron Bass is another Gibson here, and this Gibson here is opening up a challenge right now for you. Anywhere, anytime, any place. Ron Bass, I want you.
Robert Gibson returning to the Southeastern Wrestling area. He's about ready for action on today's program. Let's go to the ring.
Your attention, please. Our next match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left from Pensacola, Florida, at 218 pounds, Robert Gibson. Robert Gibson. His opponent from Montgomery, Alabama, at 225 pounds, Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy Jones taking on Robert Gibson in our next television match here on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. A lot more action coming your way today. And possibly another injury. Those ribs that were injured on Brad Armstrong in that tag title match, those ribs possibly re-injured moments ago by Mr. Saito, and Bob Armstrong has not arrived yet here at the television studio. And if he was here before that program is over with, I can certainly understand that he is going to be in a bad state.
Going to be distressed, no doubt about it. Saito coming out here unscheduled, provoking Brad to follow him into the ring, and of course you saw what happened. Our first look at Jimmy Jones as he squares off with Robert Gibson. Jones, a rugged individual, but Robert Gibson, a fine young athlete, shows a lot of his offense around speed and movement, and he's willing to trade punches, as you witness here now with Jones, anytime, any place. Jones with a side headlock now. Robert trying to pry his way free. Working for position here, takes his man to the ropes, catapults him off, and he's caught with the tackle. Again, Charlie, want to remind the fans, P.O. Box 1089, Dothan, Alabama 36301. If you're a civic group, school, or club would like to have professional wrestling as a fundraiser, drop us a line at that address, and you're happy to get in contact with you. And
Just a minute. Listen, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just walked in the building. I walked back to the dressing room back there, and Brad's laying down. But I'm going to tell you something. He ain't out. I understand that Condrey and Rose kind of pushed that Japanese gentleman out here to do a job on it. Well, he's really brave, isn't he? He's got his ribs all bunged up, and he did that for me. Now, I'm going to do something for Brad. I want that Japanese, if he's hearing me in any way, shape, or form, as well as Condrey and Rose, something's going to be done about this, brother. It ain't going unanswered. My ribs ain't bashed in. Something's going to be done. Right, Japanese?
Right, Bob Armstrong, and rightfully so.
Yes, sir. And Bob, missing no words at all, tells Mr. Saito, let's do it at your convenience, anytime, any place. And as we all know, Bob Armstrong can handle the job. No doubt about it. He and Saito, that should be quite an interesting confrontation. Right now, Robert Gibson with the arm bar, windmilling it on Jimmy Jones. Jones trying to find a way out here as Gibson applies the pressure. You know, I've watched both the Gibsons come up through the ring. Ricky, several years ago when I was wrestling around this area. Saw him get his beginning, and now Robert Gibson following his brother's footsteps. And he's a fine competitor. Jones sets him up with that elbow and spins him around, and he hits the deck.
Side headlock, hip toss, takedown, but it's Robert Gibson coming up with those head scissors. Jones goes to the bottom rope.
Jones up, neutral starting position, and Gibson is waiting on him. As we mentioned, Robert has that blinding speed and uses it to his advantage. Jones picks him up, tries to push him away, but Robert, hanging tough, takes his man over and maintains the offensive with the headlock.
Over into a pinning position. 2 count on Robert Gibson, and he powers back over, holds on to that side headlock.
Gibson applying the pressure now. Jones trying to find his way out, Charlie. He's had his share of the match, but Gibson has been able to get back the advantage at each and every turn. Nice tackle by Robert as he makes the move again. Oh, almost got him. He got over the top. He shot out with that drop kick. One mistake, and he went right into something else, thinking well ahead of himself. Look at here. Hooks Jones coming out of that corner, rolls him up, and he's got a win.
That's it. A good win for Robert Gibson of Pensacola, Florida. More action to come today on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Mr. Saito in action, and we'll be reviewing some very important videotape when Southeastern Wrestling continues.
Attention, please. Our next match, 1 fall TV time remaining. Introducing in the corner to my left at 218 pounds from Dothan, Alabama, Charles Odum. Charles Odum. His opponent from Japan at 245 pounds, the current Alabama state heavyweight champion, Mr. Saito. Saito.
There you have the Alabama state heavyweight champion, Saito, taking on Charles Odum. Odum attacking Saito, but it seems to be all in vain.
Saito opening right up, and he's a powerful man. You can't take that away from him. Charlie, we've talked about the power in those hands. And you can see the muscular development of that body. A man who has done sumo, martial arts, Greco-Roman style wrestling, and you see that plain old-fashioned brawling as he drops Odum. Throws Berger across that top rope. That slashing chop sends Charles down once again. And what can you say about the Alabama heavyweight kingpin? But he's a tough man to handle.
There he is, man. Side suplex for the pin. It's over.
Almost quicker than you can talk about it, Charlie. One of his many different variations of the suplex.
Saito comes up to score a win over Charles Odum.
And coming out to join us now, two gentlemen, Jimmy Golden and the Tennessee Stud. And we have some videotape highlights, Ron, of a match you had with John Valiant.
That's right, and before we get into it, I'd like to say, I know a lot of people out there are probably very confused, and I never thought that I'd see myself standing here or sitting here on the same set with Jimmy Golden, because there's been a lot of bad blood between myself and Jimmy, my brother and Jimmy, but nonetheless, I think I have seen a change in Jimmy Golden. I've had hundreds of fans from around this part of the country say, take Jimmy Golden back. He has had a change of heart. He's a good man now, and I tell you what, I've had some great partners in my time, but I don't think anybody can do a better job than that man sitting right there.
Well, I certainly appreciate it, Ron. I tell you, it's been a long time that we've been together and what have you, and it really gets me right here, and I'm just glad that we're together, man, and we're going to raise some cane. We're going to get rid of some New York trash is what we're going to do.
That's exactly right. Now you can roll the film and we'll show you exactly what we're talking about, getting rid of New York trash. First of all, I want to say, Charlie, I promised the people that I was going to boot John Valiant back to New York. Well, I didn't get around to dragging him around the building and booting him out of the area, but I did send him for a little visit to the Southern doctors at the hospital in Dothan, Alabama, and the boy's got 15 stitches in his head from this match. And you're going to see in this match part of just what happens to big John, luscious John Valiant. And after this match, he don't look so luscious to me, I'll be honest with you.
Indeed. I'll have to agree with your comments, Ron. This was a hard-fought match.
Well, it was a hard-fought match. I want to say, for John Valiant, on his behalf, he has got some guts, and he did stand in there and he did fight almost down to the very end until he had to have his big Texan buddy, Ron Bass, come and help him out. And we're going to get rid of not only John Valiant, not only is he going north, but we're going to send Bass south, and I'm not talking about Texas, I'm talking about the Gulf. We're going to put him on a little boat and shove him out in the Gulf of Mexico, and he's going to be gone, too, at the same time.
A little southern hospitality, brother.
Now, you can see here, Valiant, at this point, is already starting to bleed. I've already busted him on that post. I run him into the post 4 times, and that was certainly enough to put that in his hair. You can see that red in his hair already. Right here, we are going at it. There ain't no doubt about it, Charlie Platt, because I don't like the man. I'll be very honest with you. I don't like the man at all.
I can
understand. Anytime I can get my hands on him, anytime I can get in the ring with him, I want to. There you can see him. He don't look too luscious right there. He looks kind of red to me. I'm going to put a little tapping on him here. Let's